okay, and you?
I'm pretty good myself too. Before we start in, I if you can tell me how's been your experience so far,
About trading or about what you have been teaching me?
what I've been teaching you.
Hello?
Yeah, what I have been teaching you so far. Is
Um,
I mean, are you following it easily? Do you have any problems with that, or if you find that I'm too fast or I'm too slow, then maybe we can work on that.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You you cannot hear me. Let me call you back again.
Now, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, you can hear me. All right.
I can hear
So,
you now.
what is your impression? What has been your experience so far? I know we haven't done too much yet, but then so far, how has it been proceeding?
Yeah, I've been learning new things, how to look at the market with a different view without any indicator and trying to look for intercept and market reversals and break of a particular price. I think what I've actually been learning is all about price movements
Price
and what
action.
is about to do. Yeah, price actions.
And what do you think? The strategy, the method, is it effective?
It's very effective because it gives you a clue. It gives you a clue and then of what is probably going to happen in the market, and that's what I think. I think it's good.
So it would be fair to say that it gives you a higher probability on a trade setup.
Just that way.
Okay. Today, what I want to do is I would like to split the session in two parts, right? So first 30, 35, 40 minutes, I'll be going on, and then we'll take a break for 1 or 2 hours. I want you to do some practice, and then we'll do another session for 20 minutes or 30 minutes after a couple of hours, and there you will be the instructor, and I'll be your trainee. So today the concept is how do we plot trend lines, right?
Okay.
You've seen the reason for you to show as explicitly as possible, on the trade setups, on the trend lines, but you might be having questions on the backside that how those trend lines are getting picked up. Why is he
Yep.
picking this? Why is he not picking that? What is the
Yep.
reason behind that? So this is probably the most difficult part that we are going to come on to. But once you get this, from here onwards, it'll be like walk in the park. It's like you do not have any limitation. Whatever I'll be telling you, you'll pick up right there and then, because you will know exactly how I feel. So what I'll try to portray right now, or how we're going to go about today, is allowing you to come into my mind and see via my eyes how am I seeing the markets. I emphasize again and again, the point being, your trend lines need to be smooth. I'll give you an example, and the reason why I'm picking this pair right now is because it is a tough pair. I do not trade this pair. I, I actually never look at this pair, Aussie Cat, so it'll be a good practice for me also. We did a little bit of session on that yesterday. You saw how it played out, right? You saw
Yep.
how it played out. The indication was that this is a bull flag, so it never gave a confirmation. It never came down to confirm one more time, and it was in a rush to break, and it did. And then knowing that this pair is slow, so maybe the most it will do today by the NFP comes in, maybe hit around 92.35, 92.40, and my guess is that most likely because it'll be a USD news impact, most likely is going to come down retracing from here. Actually, there are a couple of Canadian data also. So, but my guess as of right now is that hit here, then drop down here, and I think this is plenty of a range for a slow pair like this. So let's take the same pair, sorry, And sorry, no, I'm taking Aussie Canadian dollar today. All right. When you come, let's say this is the pair that you have interest on, and you are about to set trade. How would you do that? My guess is that first thing you'll do is try to connect those spikes. Is that,
Yeah.
am I correct on that?
Yep.
All right. Let's say this is the basic that we have done. We have made use of two spikes, right? We got what we have is a probable resistance zone. That's mean if this shoots up on the higher side, it is likely to come down here. Now, what I do normally is if I have either a support done or a resistance done that I think is good, that I can use it, and if the price comes to it, I can, depending on the flow, this is where I can take a position, whether to play the breakout or whether to, see a failure and start selling it. So this becomes my resistance, but I am more interested in channel. So if this is a resistance, what is the appropriate channel for it on the support side? So what I do is I copy the trend line, and I'll see if you can come around and give me a good match out here. So this is one good match out here, right? What I'm seeing is that, I'll just put it this way. What I'm seeing is that there might be some trend line on the far left. We cannot see it. Again, 15 minutes has got its limitations, which is basically, or we can see the price from a very current scenario. We cannot drag it too far off on the backside. But this looks good. This has been a break. This has been a retest right here, right?
Yep.
And again, almost a retest, minor spike, curving bottom, and then we go on the higher side. So that's mean if I'm to trade this pair right now, my higher probability clauses on terms of resistance and support would be to attempt sells from here, attempt buys from here, right? Now this is very basic, correct? This is something that clearly understandable. There isn't too much to be done. Done one trend line, pick the same trend line, and see if we can have a linear base trend line that follow ups and forming a channel. So what is the channel that we see here? It's a bear channel, right?
Yep.
Now it's a bear channel. Where exactly it is forming? So from this chart we can see the price has been trending on the higher side.
Yep.
Right? So if you are to take a trade, let's say you have an interest in this pair, right? What is the trade setup that comes in your mind?
I'll be looking to buy at the support level of
Here?
that has occurred before. Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. And what would be your intention on target? Or what would be your preferred scenario from here?
My target will be at the upper trend line.
Upper trend line. Alright?
Then
And now
probably I can take maybe 20 pips from there. If there's a break to the upper side, then, and if price holds from there, I can enter long again from there.
so you want to buy here, catch
Yes.
close to it. If it
Yes,
breaks
keep
and close on
going.
the higher side, you want to continue buying for probably
If
a
it
new.
holds,
Yeah.
if price holds from there.
Good. And why your preferred trade is buy and not sell from here?
Because I have seen like there are initially price broke that particular trend line, the downtrend line,
Okay.
in the beginning of this trend,
Okay.
and then it's like there have been two supports.
Okay.
There have been two supports that has happened before, and
Okay.
it's possibly looking like this is going to be a bull.
Very good. Very good. Because the same thing, if I have to say, if I have to explain, why my preferred trade on this would be a buy, and especially a buy if it comes down here starts holding, is because of, first of all, the market is, based on this chart, the market is trending on the higher side, number
Yeah.
one. Secondly, it's a bear channel formation, but forming at the top of the range, right? Forming at the top of the range. So basically this implies there could be a continuation pattern, something like this. Something like this. Something like this, which is yeah, which is maybe come down here, then head back here, retrace some, and then
And break out.
continue on the higher side.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's wonderful. Now, let's say we are short-term traders, all right? And
Yeah.
this is the view that we have, and this is the layout that we're thinking is going to get played out. What is, is there somewhere else, something else that you can do with this thing?
Yeah, sure, because it can also break out to the downside of
It can also break down on the downside.
yeah, and if price holds from there, probably we can take some money out.
Okay. So there is both ways to do it, but your preferred scenario is that it could be a continuation on the break
Yeah.
higher. So
Yeah.
better to be long and test the waters here. Maybe cash 70-80% of your pips, and if it breaks on the higher side, then use a retrace to get back into the long carry up. All right.
Yes.
Fantastic. Very good. That's the right concept out there. And let's say if it's, let's say if it ends up breaking, what or how would you come across and measure your target?
If it comes on breaking to the upper side.
Let's say it has broken on the higher side. Example. What would be your target on the higher side if you're still long?
My target will be around 30 to 50 pips then.
So if the break is at 9700, so anything between 9730 to 9750, you'll be more than willing to cash out.
Yeah.
Right. Now let's see if we can determine if this breaks out, what is the most optimal spot that we can go and take our profits. Let's see if we can find something, right? So normally I would do something like that, right? First of all, now the reason for this trend line is simple. This is the range break here,
Yes.
then there's a huge follow-up, right? So actual break has been here. When curve almost came back and did a retest. Normally good retest means it should have taken up this high, right?
Okay.
It did not. It did not even take out this high. So eventually it broke. It broke, and it normally would have gone short, but we had something like this in terms of a trend line that comes in and basically end up holding, got a close back on the higher side. So when the close was done, actually it did not even wait for any confirmation, it just followed through. So that means if the price comes down towards 96.50, that would become your actual buy point now, because what we discussed based on this two trend line, there was nothing wrong with that. Looking at how the price has been, or looking at how the price action has been going around, is giving you all the indication that this is a buy. Now my question is that this was the break, right? We came and posted a high, we came back, almost retraced, and I would say if the retrace is done here, then it should, on a good breakout strategy, after posting a high, after retesting the break point, it should go and hit a new high. So it failed, it dropped under. So my assumption is that now you have to look at it from a different point of view. The first point of view was this trend line and this trend line and the overall scenario. Then we had this trend line, which ended up giving us a baseline and a support where it bounced back up. Now we have another trend line that came in, and it showed us that this in fact was the actual breakout. This in fact was a break lower. This whole move underneath ended up being a fake. It's gone higher. So to continue that, if we do not hold back to here, my assumption is that we probably would break underneath here. And one way to look at it is that Aussie Canadian, I think we have a quite important data coming up. NFP is obviously there, but then there's some news feed from Canadian also, and I think it's very important. Let's see if we can, if I have
Yeah, the Canadian trade balance is coming now.
I just want to reconfirm. There's quite a lot of them. Building permits is important. Employment chain, of course, but again, employment and
The Ivory PMI.
yeah, the trade balance is Chinese and IVPMI. So there's a there's quite important feed coming in from Canadian, and it can pretty much it could be a busy pair for going into the American session. But let's say there was no news feed, and it's a normal market, and again, this is something that you can probably look in later on how it goes in. So my assumption is that most likely, if this has to go for a buy, right, and considering we are not on the spike zone, and we do not have a news, then this is where it needs to get the buy zone. 96.50 zone, it needs to get a buy on. So if this is what I have, then maybe I can go with this formation. That's mean on a short-term scale, hit here, give me a buy, break here, test here. See, the things that what I'm doing is now going with two trend lines, adding more lines in between, and giving me a clear picture in terms of what I can expect. So I can make a educational guess that this was a fake, and these are rounded bottoms, another indication of bull moves. If these were rounded tops like this, then indication of a bearish move, right? And see, this was an indication of a bearish move. While we have a news impact, it spiked, but this was the data from Australian dollar. We had I can't remember what we had, but yesterday or day before yesterday, and we ignored the spike, basically stayed under. So same thing goes here. If the news comes in, we might spike in, then it would become a bit difficult. It needs to hold this, because this is where the breakout occurred. It rejected this move under as a fake move. So come down towards 96.50, show a bounce, break 96, whatever the number is out here, and continue towards at least here. From here, if there's any retraces, what you can do with trendline, you can clearly light the path for the price to travel, regardless of the direction it is going. You can track it pip by pip, you can track it move by move. So now this has not done remotely what we're talking about, but we are basically putting up a trade setup and seeing the different probabilities, how it would go if it comes into play. So with that in mind, so if this breaks, what could be my next target? My next target could be something like this, or maybe something like that. So now this trend line is done with a view that it is proportional to this trend line. So if I delete everything and I just leave you with this trend line, let's say we'll give them numbers, actually we'll give them colors. Let's say all right, now I want you to concentrate only on the blacks, the T3 and the T5, and forget about everything else, right? Let me save this so that if I come back I don't have to redo it. Let's say I delete this. This is what you have. Again, this is a good formation of a price action where the price is, right? Now we consider that this is a fake move. Now I'm gonna take you a bit on an advanced side, right? If it's not making sense to you, I don't want you to worry on that, because apparently as we go gradually, things will become much more clear, right? Now, is there anything distinctly that you see out here in terms of formation or in terms of pattern on this chart? Anything that you can make of?
Yeah. It's like a channel.
This is a channel,
Yeah.
right? All right. But do you see any formation or a pattern? If you look at the whole price, now we have this trend line and we have this trend line.
Yeah.
What is it?
Price is trying to find the supports around. It's like going up and down inside this trend line.
So it needs a break higher or break lower, right?
Needs to happen. Yeah.
Good. And this trend line, we can use it as a midpoint or a median between this channel, that price stays under to it. We discussed this yesterday also on the same concept, the median. And if the price stays under, then the chances are we are hitting the base, right?
Yeah.
If it cross over, then the chances are
we are heading. Yeah.
But in reality, this has no effect on this channel, because it tells you it can play around till it breaks around. All right, one way. Now there could be an adjustment that could be done to this channel. That is, we can pick something like that, right? And I'll show you what I mean by that, because I'm seeing something else also out here. And now let me explain what I see. I take it as a head. I take this whole zone as a left shoulder. I'm taking this zone. I'm doing it like that because it could be here, or it could be extended here. Sorry, here, or it could be extended here, right? So it could be either like this, or it could be either like this, right? So based on the formation, based on the pattern, that it could be an inverse head and shoulder, and this could be the neckline right here, right?
Okay.
If I have to position myself, what do you think how I will position myself? I will wait for the price to come at least till here, right?
Yep.
I'll make use of the formation. The only thing that concerns me at this present time is that there's enough heavy news coming up from the Canadian, right? And it'll start off in about next 4.5 hours, and for next 4.5 hours to next 6 hours, there's a lot of heavy impacting news releases coming in from the Canadian side that can play a lot of effect. But regardless, what I've seen is that over and over again, patterns, they prevail over fundamentals. Rare chances, very rare case scenario that they falter. Otherwise, they always prevail. So if I have to position myself based on what I'm seeing, my interest 9650 goes lying in for a buy side. My interest goes lies in around till 9650 to 9640. I have a buy interest. As long as this low holds, or let's say these tops, whatever that comes in holds, 9630 zone holds, I have a scenario of inverse head and shoulder intact, head back here, and there's enough news, so not all the news is coming at the same time, so there we have an initial news feed on Canadian right along with the NFP, and then 90 minutes later we got more data coming in from Canadian side. So maybe by that time we can have a test here, we can get a drop back here, and then next news comes in, and that might just be it can just help fueling in for a break on the higher side, and we go on the higher side.
Yeah.
Do you see what we have done? We started with a naked chart, right? We started off with the basic, and we started plotting things into what we can use it. But does not mean where we started we keep with the same view. You know what I mean? You need to think in a way which prevails more, or which has got an upper hand. Is it the trend lines? Is it the channel? Or is it the pattern? Is it the formation of the candles? What works most? My experience over and over again tells me that patterns, they prevail. So if I have to do a hierarchy, or let's say if I have to subdivide division based on higher probability clause, then patterns number one, formation and number two, breakouts number three. Actually breakouts will be number two play, then the formation of candles, then last bit of it is channels. Sorry, not channels. Yeah, channels comes in higher than support and resistance, because support and resistance could be too many. They are support and resistance maybe after every 5 or 10 or 15 pips, but it's up to you how to devise proper strategy where you can find yourself the best looking support or best looking resistance. You can have three support. I'll give you an example. Actually, allow me a few minutes. I need to put the battery on for. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll stay with me. Hold on. Hello. 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 Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. So I was talking about hierarchy of what precedes what. I think number one are patterns. Of course, maybe it could be debatable. Number one would be the news impact, like NFP and all that, but they do not come in on a regular basis. So we just sticking to the technical. So patterns, then I think breakouts, then formation could be a lot of different formation of candles, how they affect, but of course when you use them, you always use them towards a particular or strong looking support and resistance. So it's a combination of two, then channels, and then your normal support and resistance, which could be too many. So it depends on how you go about and do it. I actually wanted to show you something that we did yesterday, and some of the methodology that went into picking up those trades. But from this point of view, this was a difficult chart. This was a difficult pair to chart, namely because it's too slow. But when you start looking at it in this angles, when you have some patterns kicking in and assumption, it helps that it's been trending on the higher side, so most likely will continue on the higher side. So we started with something in the beginning, but our later version is coming up like that. So now that it looks choppy, and if I can take it back, and just redo it again, so it's simple to understand. And maybe I can change the color so it looks much more understandable, something like this. Your head, your left, your right, and an expected move should be something like that. Then again your break zone, maybe something like this. So these are just the pattern that we go by, and how it helps is it helps you to go and pick a position and then see how it goes from there onwards. The only difficult part for today is being there's enough news on the Canadian dollar that it can go sideways, or it can it might just not work out, but the probability of that not working out is very, very minor. But on a rare case scenario, it can happen. So this is what we have done, and I've shown you the basic of how I did it, and started from where and ended up where. I want to quickly tell you about a trade that we took yesterday.
Okay.
There was a call we put in the market. We had a lot of calls in the market yesterday, and all of them played out wonderfully. But this particular one that I want to talk about is this trade. This was my raw setup. Let's take it out for a while, make it easy. Anyways, we were long on this pair, and we had a call to go and sell, right on the top. Apparently 15 to 17 pips, we got shied off, and it did not trigger, and then it started falling. So initially this was the layout that I was waiting for, right before the news impact, that since we are trending, put it this way, this is the price that we fair to say, if we consider some, in terms of breakout, then the price was higher at this point. Right now it is trending on the lower side. Our initial target on the short, intended short, was somewhere around here. We'll get back onto that, but apparently what I wanted to show is that if there was no news event, right, and this in continuation with the bull move, which it has been showing, and analyst trader like me wanted to have another go towards this trend line to satisfy the technicals, and then again, maybe I was hoping for another test on the higher side, and then lower, the drop lower should come after posting another minor high. Apparently it did not happen, and one of the reasons that I backed off from my call on this, when I spotted this. Now, to make much more simpler, right, I'll take out. I wasn't around, otherwise this is a steep incline overall, right? This has been from smooth here, then one side breaking, it went on steeper. This trend line tells me it's a street, so it broke under and it failed. Normally what it does, that especially these kind of breakouts, especially when the candles are closing very close to the like the opening came in really literally close to the trend line, what they do is they actually goes and test the trend line again, and actually stays there for a considerable amount of time, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, test, and if you're short, it gives you a lot of impression that it's about to go back on the higher side, or it makes you basically, it makes you uncomfortable. That's how I'll put it, but it did not. it started off right there and then, right there and then, right there and then. It did not. The open was the high, so I knew that this is not going to stand. So what happened was that my call in the market went in buy this test right here, buy this test right here, and buy it for 15-20 pips. And if you can amend your stops, you can take in 50 to 60 pips on that. I wasn't looking too much on the higher side. I thought normally my calls are 15-20 pips, and if you can amend your stop, you can probably do 80 pips, 100 pips, or 150 pips. I mean, I would normally look for a whole retest back to here, right? But I can just sense it that something is wrong. So 15-20 pips, take it easily, and if you want to gun more than 50-60 pips, and be out. And this is a, let's say, 15 minutes chart.
You took this trade from the 2-hour chart.
I took this trade from a 2-hour chart.
Okay.
So buy point was coming in right around. I'll send you across the link when we send it, so you will know. At that time, the price was trading somewhere around here. It did not came and test the T4. So the level was coming around roughly about 39.50, 38, and this is what it did. It came, it hit 39. It bounced back up to well, the low was actually 2.03910, and the high being 2.4276. So enough pips. And then this is here 36, and then went up for about 48.90. So almost done about 90 pips before it starts tracking down on the lower side. And I'll pass you that. This is what I was again looking on at 30 minutes also. This is another break. This is what I mean, that it should have tested this point out here, but open was the close. And you can, when I'll send you the link, you can see it out there. So it did it, and apparently it closed. So right now, from technical point of view, if this is what the point is for the selling, but much better if you can wait, because this is what I think is going to happen. It will gravitate between this point and this point. So you got a small zone out here, and again Canadian data, and it's important to look at the British pound also. This is one of my layout. I think I showed you before. This is what we broke in. We held here, so that was a good indication that at least they will do this. That was another reason why Pound Cat came in with a 50-60 pips profit limit, because I was all I needed to see was pound hold towards here, and maybe sooner or later it will just go and do a retrace. Apparently the retrace came in quicker than I expected, which was good for pound Canadian. And again, today, depending on the NFP, if we break this, then that means the dollar is on the higher side, stronger side. And if we break on the higher side, then it'll be it can track back all the way to probably testing 57.10, 57.20. I'll be covering this later on. I have a webinar today on NFP, so 30 minutes before the NFP release, I'll go on discussing maybe 7, 8, 10 different pairs setup, and then we'll track them how it performed right after the NFP releases come. So these will be the live it will be a live webinar. And what I do is that I will not do too much of sketching. The sketch will already be, I'll just be putting in my views onto the markets, the most optimum point for buy or sell on right after the NFP release. And one thing that I do not do, and that is I will not look at the numbers on the NFP, because I never look on these news releases. I never look at the numbers, because to me, I do not trade those numbers. I trade my trend lines. So that's the difference it is. I'm gonna go. I'll see you back in about to roughly about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And what I want you to do today is pick any pair of your choice, any pair, right? By the time we come back, show me clear channel on a 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and then again on 2 or 4 hours. So either 15 minutes and 30 minutes, and again either 2 hours and 4 hours. Show me a channel, and then probably use maximum 4 trend line, and show me some setup that you think is available to go. I'll give you a hint. Why don't you do something on what do you prefer on the pair?
I prefer the Howdy US dollars or
Okay, do
the
one
US Canada. Yeah.
Okay, do Euro Canadian and do Aussie dollar, and we'll get back in about next hour and a half to 2 hours maximum. By the time I'll have a lunch also, and then we'll catch up. All right, so I'll do another session of 20-25 minutes. I just want to see how you do, and then we carry on from there. All right then.
Yeah, sorry, I've been trying to get the charts something very clear and that I can use in plotting the trend line, but I wasn't able to get the chart for the next denier. It's not opening on my system.
Okay, what you require is to upload Java. It's a Java run application, and what you do is hold on, I'll give you pass you the link. Just go on the Java site. And what it does is that I'll send you the link. When you do free Java download, it downloads the latest version, and it looks at your system requirement and it gives you what you require. So you just need to be sure. If your system is 32-bit, then do a 32-bit upload. If your system is 64-bit, then do a 64-bit Java upload. Upload the Java, and then restart your browser, and then do the charts, and then they will go through. Otherwise, whatever the charts that you have or you've been working on, you can do that, not a problem. Because I'm not interested with the levels. I'm not interested with the levels right now. I'm just interested on the layout. As I told you, your charts should be telling you a story. So I want you to be a very good storyteller. That's all I want. I'm not looking for accuracy. I'm not looking for pinpoint accuracy or precise levels and all that. I'm not interested with that. I want you to show me charts that even if you do not describe them, they are telling me a story. So let me hear a good story in about 2 hours. All right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.